No one is allowed to say that I go into every movie wanting to complain. I wanted to like this movie so badly. Chris Hemsworth and Tessa Thompson are one of my fantasy threesomes, for fuck's sake. So, you wanted a video intro. Oh, my dad's gonna hate that opening. Hi, I'm Amanda and you're watching Swell Entertainment. I wanted to like this movie because I couldn't stand the new Hellboy and I needed at least one reboot in recent years to not give me severe anger. The only reason I didn't make a video on Hellboy is that every time I went to go and try and script a video on the new Hellboy, I just got way too worked up. Like, it was ridiculous. Let me be clear. Men in Black International isn't terrible. It's okay, and at times even good, and it definitely had potential. However, it was overall underwhelming, and it really didn't do a lot to convince me that rebooting the Men in Black franchise was a good idea. There's a lot of interpretation that can be applied to what classifies as a reboot. The new Hellboy was an all-around reboot. It had new characters and a whole new actor playing Hellboy. It was very blatantly a reboot. Men in Black International may have been able to have been considered a sequel for the previous Men in Black movies. However, we see none of the old characters aside from a mural on a wall at one point that implies that this is the same universe. Therefore, it's a reboot, or if you want to get technical, it's at the very least a relaunch. The two goals of a reboot are simple. Relaunch the franchise, make stupid amounts of money. Both Men in Black International and Hellboy failed at this. However, I'm gonna only talk about Men in Black because Hellboy angers me. I was going to stick this whole section that I'm about to talk about with the section where I talk about the characters for this film, but I wanted to get this out of the way really quickly because this really does kick off the plot, essentially, of the film. So I want to talk about it because I felt that this was just a wasted opportunity. Her origin story to the Men in Black. Molly, or Agent M, had a run-in with the Men in Black when an alien had run through her house when she was a little girl. The Men in Black had neuralized her parents' memories, but they didn't get hers. Let me start there. That was a wasted opportunity. Other than briefly mentioning that her parents' memories were erased, but not hers, which led to people thinking she was crazy for most of her life because she believed in aliens and the Men in Black. It's not really brought up at all. She even tells Agent O when she's trying to be recruited that she has nothing in her life that she couldn't happily walk away from, implying that either her parents have passed away or that the relationship is so fractured that they would not realize that she is gone. This whole event is something that must have been so traumatic in her childhood. She probably fought with her parents trying to make them remember the multicolored alien that ran through the house that her father chased with a baseball bat, and the men who thought it was okay to wear sunglasses at night who made them forget everything. And sure, when she's young enough, it's probably, oh, it's her imagination. But as that persists throughout childhood, because she never forgot it, if that persists throughout childhood, you get concerned. And so I'm sure that led to rifts in the family. And obviously it led to people in her life thinking she was crazy, so it became something that she just randomly blurted out at all times. That's really traumatic and horrible. Think about how much better her hunt for the MIB would have been if it came from a vendetta against the men who wear sunglasses, who ruined her family and made people think she was crazy. Because I think that would have been great. She hunts them down, she makes it all the way inside, they catch her butt as she's ranting and telling them what she's gonna do to them because you ruined my family, you ruined my life. They offer her a job. They want to recruit her. Then her whole arc could revolve around her not being sure if she can get over her animosity against the Men in Black that she's been building up her whole life, while also developing a good working bond with Agent H, as well as a fascination and a love for working with the alien species that she had been trying to track down and hunt for years, trying to get to the Men in Black. I think that would have been much better than her being the competent newbie trying to put up with her barely tolerable mentor. One of the reasons that this film just wasn't great for relaunching a franchise is that it underestimates the Men in Black. The first intro we get of adult Molly, she is talking to a recruiter for the FBI and then the CIA, both for what we're supposed to believe, I'm assuming, is high-ranking recruit positions. They talk about how she tested above average in pretty much every aspect of the recruitment process, and then both interactions end with her trying to figure out if they can lead her to the Men in Black, and then when she realizes they can't, she leaves. Which, okay, that's fine. But then we also learn that MIB also had no idea she existed and that she was tracking them and hacking satellites for years, trying to find them. I'm sorry, but no. This is the Men in Black universe. I get that they want us to believe that the MIB is the foremost authority in protecting Earth from intergalactic threats and such. And so making the FBI and CIA seem incompetent by letting a highly skilled individual walk out of their offices and turn down jobs doesn't end up on some type of watch list. At least show me MIB knowing that she was all up in their business and hunting them and they just didn't care and thought she was harmless. You hacked a satellite? That's real cute. That's our entry-level position requirement. Step your game up. At least make it so that they know about her. Because now, I just think that this nobody with a TA job and a subscription to Hackers Weekly is a threat to intergalactic security. One of the main reasons I disliked Hellboy was because it made me think that it thought I was stupid. Men in Black International made me think it thought its actors couldn't act. There is no goddamn way they paid Emma Thompson anything less than close to $1 million for her role. And she is in this film for a max of 8 minutes. I don't know if that's her going rate, but oh my god, there's no way they utilized what they paid her for. She should have been in so much more of this movie. There were multiple scenes with Agent M where I straight up just mumbled, "You're better than this." Chris Hemsworth was acting like he got the script for this movie and his only character direction was play Thor from Ragnarok but make him insufferable, because I could barely tolerate Agent H, but I'm gonna talk about that later. Liam Neeson was also hard to watch. I just feel like this was a pretty loaded blockbuster cast, and even then it seems like they couldn't give their actors a workable script. I do want to talk about Rafe Spall, who played Agent C. He was in an episode of Black Mirror, and he was also in the Netflix original movie The Ritual that I reviewed, and then it got copyright claimed, so I took it down. My point is I've seen him in other stuff, and I've never thought twice about him. I don't know what it was about him in this film that made me go, oh, hi. I have no idea why, but I found him sexy as hell in this film. Why? Was it because he seemed to be the only competent character? Is that what it was? Because I genuinely don't know what happened. Also, there was this really funny scene where he whips off his glasses when he's talking about Article 13, and then in the same shot, when he lifts up his arm, he puts his sunglasses on, but it's the same hand. And I don't know why that had me laughing so hard in the theater. Also, wasted opportunity. Would have been a cool tech thing if his actual glasses switched into his sunglasses. That would have been a cool addition. It would have been like the Men in Black care about people with eyesight. I just thought that scene was hilarious. If you were trying to relaunch a whole ass franchise, you're gonna make me want to like, or at least want to root for, the characters you were trying to introduce. I don't like most of these characters. I can't stand H. Most of the film, we're supposed to be wary of H because everyone's been saying that he changed, and Vungus did see that he was different when he read his mind. However, the film never takes any steps to show that he was ever different from how he is in the film. Agent C and him seem to have always have been sassy with each other. He always seems to have been the party boy of the agency, considering he was chosen for the assignment for Vungus because they had partied on multiple other occasions. Aside from that small scene with him and High T in the opening flashback, which showed that Agent H could in fact take something seriously when he was on a case, we don't really see anything else that shows that he used to be different. Also, this film made Agent H canonically a tentacle fucker. What? Excuse me? Also, that whole setup was weird because the whole premise banked on the fact that no one, including married alien lady, would pass up the opportunity to Chris Hemsworth. I mean, it might be true, but it's a bad resolution to him almost dying. And now you also want me to take him seriously as the head of the London office? No. I already talked about Agent M and how I think giving her a vendetta against the Men in Black would have been great. I'm just really tired of the bright-eyed newbie who wants to change the world. Give me some angry women, damn it, they can save the world too. High T was sketched from the beginning. Him being the true villain was not surprising whatsoever. Ever. Agent O didn't do a whole lot for the plot. I originally thought she gave M a fake assignment to get her to London, but instead she just told a new rookie agent on her first day of the job that there's a problem in London, and she was supposed to figure out what the problem was. No, you wouldn't send a probationary agent because you think there's someone infiltrating the Men in Black in London. And then at the end, she goes, "I've had my suspicions about the London division for quite some time." I'm sorry, what the would have been great to have seen any of that implied at any other point in the film besides the opening and the end. I probably would have taken the ending more seriously had they made Agent C the new head of the London office. Regardless of whether or not it's true that Agent H had changed since his encounter with the Hive in 2016, it was still widely believed that he preferred to work alone and worked best by himself, which really doesn't work well for someone in a leadership position who has to delegate and shit. C created a whole task force and had agents reporting to him while they were hunting for the weapon, all without High T's approval. Agent C for head of London office 2020, let's go. I really only liked Pawnee. He had some of the best lines. If you were trying to relaunch a franchise and trying to make me care about these characters, don't keep trying to remind me that the actors playing these characters were also both in another completely different, highly successful franchise. Tessa Thompson and Chris Hemsworth are both in the Marvel Cinematic Universe playing Valkyrie and Thor. And Men in Black International were clearly very proud of this accomplishment for them because they kept bringing it it up. For Tessa, it seemed to really only be the scene when she's getting all of her gear for joining the Men in Black. She picks up a smaller gun and she goes, mm-mm. And then later, she picks up a slightly larger gun and goes, check please. Also, later when her and H are first fighting the two aliens, she gets the big gun from the tailpipe and uses that a couple of times, and then at some point switches to a different gun, but we don't see that. To me, this is a clear reference to the scene in Thor Ragnarok where her character Valkyrie saddles up with a big-ass strap-on gun. And yes, for those of you that didn't know, that gun in Ragnarok was a metaphor for a strap-on. I'm glad I could enlighten you today. For Hemsworth, it's even more blatant. When Agent H is fighting Rita's bodyguard, he sees a workman's hammer and goes, now we're talking, and picks it up and stands up and he's like, now you're in trouble or whatever. And you hear the first few notes of the Marvel theme song and he throws it, and of course the alien catches it because this is a different universe, and he goes, that's an amazing catch, and then hits the fan again. You're trying to make me care about these characters. Don't keep reminding me that the actors playing them are in a whole different franchise who already play characters that I actually like. Another thing is the title. Men in Black International is about a rookie New York agent who gets put on assignment in the London office and starts working with a London agent. That's all we have to do with the international title, really. They do travel to a lot of different locations in this film, but the marketing for the film was pretty heavy on the fact that she was a New York agent and he was a London agent, and that just never is a problem. I just thought it would be an issue at least some point. The only thing where we see that there's like a difference in opinion between the two of them, and I'm not even sure if that's a US thing versus an England thing, is that when they are trying to take the two aliens into custody, there's a discrepancy on whether they both want palms up or palms down for trying to arrest them. That's it. I don't know, just show us a little bit of policy differences maybe. Show O checking in on M to see how she's adjusting, if she's following the rules of that agency, because oh, their rules are different than our rules, or they do something different here, or have you noticed anything weird? Or maybe have High T reprimanding H over the potential HR disaster of dragging a probationary agent into a failed assignment while she was under his supervision. That it affects the plot whatsoever that they're from two different departments, aside from the ending where after they've bonded, they have to go to different countries. That's it. Skype's a thing. You better give me an amazing plot and some great villains if you want to see our heroes kick ass for another 14 movies. For most of the film, we are led to believe that two aliens who have the ability to transmutate materials, whose planet had been infested by the Hive, are our main villains. They hunt and kill Vungist and hunt agents H and M for the most powerful weapon in the universe. They also kill a few other people before they are blasted to smithereens by a handful of other Men in Black agents, just as they have H&M cornered. The end. No. Instead, we learn that these two were actually trying to get the weapon to fight the Hive instead of give it to the Hive, in an effort to save what is left of their planet. I went and saw Men in Black International twice to make sure I didn't miss anything that would somehow make it a better movie. I didn't. Rewatching the movie, it almost makes the two aliens story worse. Yes, they killed a few people, but it's clearly from a place of desperation in trying to save their planet. Even the pawns died because they wouldn't give the location or help them kill Vungist so that they could get the weapon that they needed. They knew Vungist probably wasn't going to give up the weapon, so he died. Throughout their time on screen, we see them pass and even interact with numerous other civilians and not touch them whatsoever. Clearly, they only killed who they felt they absolutely had to. As I said, the real villain ends up being High T, who was sketched from the start. The moment he gave Agent M the watch when it's her first day in the London office, my first thought was, oh, okay, he's gonna try and fuck her. My second thought was, that's weird because she's a rookie on loan to you. Why give her a gift? The ending was stupid. High T had been taken over by the Hive when him and H had fought the Hive a few years prior. Throughout the film, everyone is saying that Agent H has changed, and no one comments on High T changing until the very end, and it's just justified that he's just been covering for H this whole time. No one accused High T of being any different. So has he always just been weirdly touchy with H, and has he been known to give gifts and special attention to probationary agents on loan to his department? Is that normal? How big is the file that HR has on High T? I want to talk about the final battle, but that's my next point, so onward! An okay action movie can be classified as good, or even great, if it has an insanely amazing end battle scene. Men in Black International does not. When the film reached the clear turning point of agents H M and C realizing that High T was Hive, I checked my phone to check the time because I was convinced that to build to a logical end, the movie had to be another hour long. Instead, we got maybe another 18 minutes, and only 13 of that was spent getting to the end battle scene. If that, I wouldn't even call it a battle. It was like a sad attempt at one. H and M and Pawnee pull up. High T starts monologuing while twirling the weapon in his hand. Then they strike. One of them gets flipped over a railing. Then High T shows off his fancy new hive form, which is basically just a tree trunk with tentacles. There's some shuffling around. M gets thrown through the portal to other planets where the hive is waiting to invade Earth. Pawnee saves her while H tries to reason with High T because it doesn't matter if he's Hive, T is still in there. And that works for a little bit, but then Hive T is back and is blasted through the portal and the battle's done and I want my money back. The film did very little to set up that Agents H and High T had a father-son dynamic, which is what the final battle seemed to hinge on. Aside from Agent C snarking H about High T being his Poppy and him being Poppy's favorite, there's nothing much there, because even then, H is like making a joke out of it, like he doesn't really take it seriously, like, oh, you like that I'm the favorite. It's basically played off that H does not care that he's T's favorite and he just enjoys the benefit of it. T does refer to H changing and tips them off that MIB is coming after H and M, but it barely shows that T cares for him as anything more than another subordinate agent. Like maybe they had a friendly dynamic, but I wouldn't say that they had like a father-son dynamic. So sorry, I don't really buy H begging T to remember who he is. You said I was like a son to you, and that's somehow working because it just doesn't set it up at all, so I can't care about this dynamic. You clearly wanted me to watch this and be like, oh my god, that's horrible, he's fighting his father. Maybe he'll listen. Maybe he'll turn back into a human. Maybe he'll be T again. But I didn't really care. T was creepy. You just really can't make me care about a relationship that you didn't try and build up at all. I mean, the film built up Rita and H more, and she straight up disappeared after her scene with them. We don't even know if she's alive or dead. Is she gonna be a problem in future films? Let's face it, they're not getting a feature film. Overall, the end battle scene was underwhelming, which is the last thing you want for an action movie, especially if you're trying to relaunch a franchise. I have other points, but I'm gonna cut it there. Did you watch Men in Black? What did you think? Did you not watch it? Tell me why you didn't watch it. I'm sure there's a lot of you that decided not to see Men in Black because of certain comments that were made outside of the film, or also in the film. I chose not to touch on those for this because I talked a lot about that in my Captain Marvel review. And also I just don't want to bring it up every time I do a review that has a female protagonist involved in it because it's getting real old real quick. I don't know what to tell you guys. All it takes is someone saying, hey, what if like women were more included in this? And then y'all lose your spend your money where you will. I don't care really about that. However, grow a set, because nothing radiates little dick energy more than me having to listen to you complain about calling it Men and Women in Black. That was never on the table, but you complaining about that is marketing for them. So you're losing regardless. I mean, they also lost for multiple reasons, but that was just so stupid. There's just bigger problems in the world besides your fragile masculinity, like shitty reboots. Anyway, thank you to my patrons, Sarah, Byron, and Aaron. If you would also like to support me on my Patreon, that'll be linked down below. All my social media will be linked down below, but I'll also have it right here. Thank you. That's it. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Thank you for watching. Peace out. Rock on. Sleep tight. Look right here. I don't know what it was with this movie with trying to like normalize people aliens. The whole reason Molly finds the Men in Black in the beginning of the film is because she was tracking this alien who had apparently fathered 3 children with a human woman, and he was coming back to see his children. Also, those kids were not alien looking at all, so either he adopted her children or she cheated on Jimmy.